Why? Tell them why we cleaned out the barn.
We cleaned up the barn.
Why? What are we doing?
We're just hanging out fun.
Yeah, but what are we gonna get? What are we getting?
Chickens.
We're getting chickens.
Yeah.
We're getting chickens.
Yeah.
So if you watched the previous video, you already know that we received our chicks through the mail, and they will be staying in our garage for the next 8 weeks. And so we've actually got a tight timeline to get this shed converted over to a chicken coop. Now, the original plan was to just remove the siding and the roof and pour concrete, but as we were starting to take these sideboards off, we realized that the structure itself did have more damage than what we saw originally. So we decided to go ahead and start the whole thing over, because when we got quotes, the cost difference was not very much, and we wanted to make sure this would last years and years to come. So we did find some issues when we got these quotes, that the job itself just wasn't big enough for a builder to be interested in. My husband and I are not builders by any means. We don't have very much woodworking skill behind us. And with our schedules and having our son, it's not feasible for us to build the entire thing and have it done correctly. It just seems like a huge headache for us. So we are still going to be asking for help to build it. And we found someone who actually does woodworking who lives pretty close to us. And we've worked out something where he's going to help us build it and then kind of guide us and teach us how to do the siding and the trim work and put it all together. If you're curious, this is it's a 16 by 10 shed, and then it has a 10-foot lean-to off the side of it. We originally looked at this shed and we had our plans to just redo the sides and roof, so that's why we ordered the amount of chickens that we have. We are going to have the first 4 foot of this shed be the tack area, or the storage area per se, and then there will be like a wire wall with a door in it going into the coop. So they'll have roughly, it'll be a 10 by 12 enclosure for their coop, and then we'll have a run outside that'll be completely covered. At least this is the plan. Our friend did do some drawings up for us and has been working on getting the walls built and the trusses built, and then we will get everything going pretty soon. And we did look at Lowe's and Home Depot and a couple other storage businesses around here. I did ask some builders about some storage buildings that they kind of do on the side, and the cost of buying one like that is roughly the same amount to build it yourself. And we wanted it to be built more like a home than one of these storage sheds that has the wood floor. We wanted everything to be anchored down to the concrete base, and just to prevent rotting floors for later. I know a lot of people use like laminate flooring in their chicken coops because it makes it easier to clean, and then you're not having that direct contact of moisture to the wood. We just wanted to bypass that completely. I did see on Wayfair that they have these storage buildings that you can purchase, and they just have the sides and walls and they have the roof. But from all the comments that I read in there were certain things that were missing all the time, or they didn't come with instructions on how to put it together. And that seems like a headache, to be honest. So, at least this way we're learning how to build, and I think we can use it for a future reference, because we do plan on redoing a few of these buildings on the property. So I hope y'all all stay tuned with us on it. I will be doing another video here shortly updating y'all on the chickens and their progress. They won't start laying eggs for months to come. We're looking at between 6 to 9 months depending on the breed. So if you like this video, please hit that thumbs up and hit the subscribe button. We will be doing a lot of videos on the upgrades that are happening to the farm. So here next week we should be getting concrete delivered, and we're pretty fortunate that Luke's brother used to own a concrete business, so he's going to help us get everything formed in and get the concrete set up and floated. So if you're not aware of this, when you purchase concrete through a truck, there's a minimum amount of yardage that they allow you to purchase. So in this instance, for this 10 by 16 shed, it was only going to take like 2.3 yards of concrete, and the minimum yardage was actually four yards. So we ended up framing in another section right in front of the horse barn where it gets pretty muddy. So that way we weren't wasting any concrete. But we're going to get this stuff cleaned up here and get everything prepared. There's a little bit of backstory on this tractor. Whenever I moved here, we were bush hogging the back of the property. Luke was cutting up some trees that had fallen down, and in the back of the very last pasture, I decided to kind of clean up the tree line and bush hog around the tree line. And at the time, we only had a 6-foot bush hog to pull behind it, so we had to get pretty close to the tree line. And I don't know if it's this way for everyone that lives here in Kentucky or if it's just this farm, but it seemed like along the tree line of the hay pastures, there were just so many sinkholes, and I ended up dropping the tractor off into the sinkhole. I couldn't get it out. I freaked out, of course, but it ended up not being any big deal, but it did scare me. As you can see here, we are past that. I have been bush hogging quite a bit on the farm, and I've been driving the tractor a lot on the farm now, but it was just a fluke that was the first time I drove this tractor back there and dropped it off in a sinkhole. And yeah, I learned all about sinkholes that year, and I think we've got probably about 8 decent sized sinkholes, and the plan is to try to get some bricks and get some crushed concrete into these holes so that this doesn't happen one day down the road or they get worse. It seems like they had some previous sinkholes that they had filled with some round bale hay, and that has actually helped kind of pack it down, and it's not so bad there anymore. But we are trying to get with the soil conservation people and see if there's maybe something they can help us out with, or I don't know. Does anyone else have any sinkhole issues? And if they do, what do you use to fill it up? Because these sinkholes are about the size, I would say probably half of the tractor could fit in a sinkhole. So, and they're pretty deep. They're about 3-4 feet deep. So we're going to need a lot of materials. I just don't know what's the smartest thing to use. But if you've got a recommendation, please leave a comment below or just email me. That would be great. And I hope y'all enjoy the rest of the video, and we will see you next time. I will be giving you updates on the chickens, and I will be also giving you updates on the new build for the chicken coop. So we'll see you soon.